Hello everyone. Today I'm going to share with you some of the prep that I do to have a more successful week. Today I am starting with my husband's meals for the week. He's going to do the sausage, olives, and cheese thing that I did a couple of weeks ago. We did that again for him this week. And I cut up 1.5 sausages per container for him. I kind of wanted to share a week where maybe things aren't going quite as planned, and I was going to kind of take a little bit of filming liberty to kind of show, okay, well, what if this happened this day, and what if this happened this day, and this is how I would, well, I ended up not even needing to kind of stage that, if you will, because this week absolutely turned out that way. Normally I would use like Saturday and Sunday to prep all of these things. However, I got called into work during a weekend, and so I had to really just do what I could and what was needed to be done whenever I could find the time. So some things got done after work on Saturday, some things got done after work on Sunday, and the rest of it was finished on Monday after work. Especially Saturday and Sunday, I needed to make sure that, my husband was going to have the meals that he would need for his work week, as well as my daughter. So food that everybody would need for Monday really needed to be completed by Sunday evening. Alright, I'm on the last day that I pretty much have for this week of meal prep. Today's Monday. I've had the afternoon off. I really needed a nap, and that sometimes happens. So I just told the kids we're just going to do a lighter day of school today, and now it's time for me to kind of wrap up what I need to get done. I do not have anything prepped for my daughter for this week, and she keeps getting called into work, so she hasn't had any time to prep. So since I have to do it for us, I'm gonna do something for her and kind of just make sure that things are in place for kids to eat and be able to have meals while I'm not here, or it's easy when I do get home. Okay, so with that, I'm going to finish this up. It is kind of hot and muggy today, but I am going to have to turn the oven on. And if I'm going to turn the oven on, I'm going to make full use of it as much as I can. So I'm going to make a quiche for breakfast tomorrow, as well as dinner for tonight and tomorrow night. Okay, we are going to start with this. I said quiche, but it really is just a breakfast casserole. And I took whatever potatoes I could find in the freezer. These are what they call those southern potatoes. They're like little cubes. I put them in there. I put some feta cheese on top. The rest of the feta cheese is going to be used for dinner this night. We're going to make like a chicken salad. And then, I have some of this bacon that was given to me. They're bacon bits, and so I was like, yeah, I should really put this on top. So I'm gonna make a note here. I said I put some feta cheese in here, and I said I put these bacon in here. That is all the salt that this recipe needed, and I wasn't thinking about that, and I put some salt on top, and it was a little salty for us. So my recommendation, do not put salt if you're going to have like a cheese and a bacon or sausage in here. It's just a little too much. It's always easier to add it on later. So that's just my recommendation. Okay, I have a couple of egg containers, and we're just going to kind of use all these up. Each of these containers had one bag egg. Yep, there it is in there. And so I'm just going to end up tossing that. I really enjoy the fresh eggs, and sometimes I can find them at a roadside stand, and sometimes I can't. And sometimes I have a sweet person that will barter with me eggs for some baked goods, but I haven't had that lately. So we're just using good old Aldi eggs here, and that's just going to be just fine for us for the year. I do not like to boil fresh eggs. I have yet to figure out a good way to do that where there's not so much waste, because the egg white will stick really badly to it. So if I'm gonna do boiled eggs, I typically do like store-bought eggs for that. So if you guys have any tips, I am all ears. I have tried to steam them. I have tried to do it where you add them in later. So when it comes to fresher eggs, I really struggle on trying to do that right. I know some people really like to use the Instant Pot for their eggs. However, I have found out that's just not a good fit for our family. Okay, so some of the spices I'm adding to my 12 eggs that I have here are garlic powder, pepper, and paprika. And I noticed when I was pouring the salt as I'm editing this, yeah, I added a lot more than I think I remember doing to begin with. So, have to remember that next time. Alright, these are some green onion tops that I got from the local community garden, and so I'm just going to utilize it and add it right on top. We're going to stir up those eggs and then pour it over the mixture, pop it in the oven at 350 degrees between 35 and 45 minutes. It just kind of depends. Some days 35 minutes is plenty, other days I need the full 45. So that's a very simple breakfast, and we all enjoy it. This one, we did have some leftovers, and I think it was because, again, it was a little too salty for us. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now I'm going to get started on some baked chicken. This is a family-friendly, or family favorite recipe. I had this growing up, and I've been making it more recently for my family. So I use 2 pie pans. I feel like this works the best. And then I'm going to grease a 9x13 dish. And again, one of the things that I'm really trying to do in order to make this work frugally as well as practically is I make one meal one night, and then I make enough for us to have it at least 2 nights in a row. And thankfully a lot of this lately has been working out for leftovers and even more. So this is some homemade ranch. Now homemade ranch has things like milk in it, and so because it's not been preserved like the store-bought stuff is, I really want to try to use it up within 2 weeks, and so this is at the end of it. Just testing and making sure that it tastes fine. Yep, so we're going to have some ranch in one pan, and then in the other one I have this stuffing mix. Now I didn't realize that this was already an opened one, so I knew immediately as soon as I poured it in, this is not going to be enough to coat 4 of the chicken chests. So and here I'm just taking, I know you can't really see it, sorry about that, my camera is kind of going out, I think, and the viewfinder, so I can see what y'all are seeing, doesn't work. It shows me a black screen, so I just point the camera in the direction that I hope it works, and we go from there. That being said, my wonderful mom, who also watches my videos, said that is unacceptable, and a new camera showed up on my doorstep. So I'm learning how to use that one, and I can't wait to hopefully get back to filming really good videos. Yeah, see, I kind of figured out, like, I don't think they're going to be able to see this as well. So anyway, let's get back to what I'm doing here. I just knew that wasn't going to be enough, and so I was like, okay, let's see what I have so I don't have to go and buy another box of the stuffing mix. What do I already have that is going to work for this meal? And I have, and you'll see it here in just a second, I have some gluten-free breadcrumbs that my sweet family in California sends me or brings me if they come visit, because this is our absolute favorite, but it is a brand that I can only find at the Stater Brothers, which is a Southern California grocery store chain. And so they bring it to me, and it has great flavor to it. But yeah, see, I'm already like, okay, this is not going to work. Let's see what we need to do. So I'm going to add those breadcrumbs to this. Now, this dish is a really good one to like cut the chicken up and put it on green salads, which is what we're going to do tonight. However, growing up, we just did this with like mashed potatoes and either green beans or corn. And it worked really well that way too if salads aren't your cup of tea. So um, this is just going to be the way we do it. It's kind of a hotter week, and I was like, you know what? Green salads are just kind of what we're in the mood for when it just gets a little too hot to make anything. And like I said, if I have to have the oven on, I'm going to just make sure to utilize it well. And here we go. I don't have to turn the oven on for a few more days after this. So you just coat this chicken in um, the ranch mix, and then just put that stuffing mix on top. And I put it in the 9 by 13 pan, cover it with tin foil, bake it for about 40 minutes, take the tin foil off, and then let it finish baking so it kind of crisps up on the outside. And then you can use your meat thermometer, check the internal temperature to make sure that it is 165, which I definitely had to do this day because these chicken chests weren't completely thawed. And I know I'm already going to get comments about the fact that I say chicken chests, and guys, it's fine. Okay, it's just something fun and kind of nostalgic that I do. It's how we said it growing up. I know breast isn't a bad word, but it makes me smile, and I know there are several of you that smile too. So no, I know it's not a bad word. It's just something that I like to do. It's, again, nostalgic. So that's going to be my spiel here. So we're going to get this meal going into the oven. I already told you all the specs. And then let's move on to the next thing for today. Alright, I need to make some ranch dressing. And it calls for a cup of mayo. And I don't have any mayo. And I didn't purchase any because I was like, well, let's see how it goes to make my own mayo. So two-step process. First, make the mayo. Second step, make the ranch dressing. From what I've seen, basically making mayo is 1 egg, oil, mustard, I think it is. And so that's what we're going to do first. Okay, once again, this was so simple, and in my efforts to kind of reduce a lot of already pre-made stuff, this was something that has long been on my list to do, but to be honest, anything new is a little bit daunting, but I really didn't have anything to worry about. Here I am just kind of watching a quick, I think it was a short just of somebody that showed what they did. It was just like 1 egg, 1 cup of olive oil, some lemons, some salt, and I believe a little bit of mustard. The video instructed me to kind of like hold the immersion blender down for I think 15 to 20 seconds, and then you kind of start rotating it around. And I have to say that I was so impressed with how well this mayo turned out. The consistency definitely had like a thicker mayo taste. Personally, I think it needed a little bit, like maybe 1 more teaspoon of lemon juice and maybe a little bit more salt. I think that would have been just perfect for my comfort, but we're gonna play with it anyway. I am so happy with how this turned out. Alright, now we're just going to take that mayo and make this ranch dressing for the week. I have to say, like, when you first make ranch dressing, it's kind of thin, and I'm just always like, I should really find a way to thicken it up. But I have learned, do not thicken it up. Let it sit in the fridge overnight, and then it is thick enough by the next day. So this needed 1 cup of mayo and 1 cup of milk. And now it's about the time I realized, okay, well thought out, Shalice, well thought out. You need to get the quart-sized jar out. So here we go. Crisis, if you want to call it that, averted, and let's kind of move on to what we're going to be doing next. Well, I didn't think about it, but duh, if I need 1 cup of mayo and I need 1 cup of oil to make mayo, this probably means I'm only going to get a cup of mayo. I'm not going to make another one right now because the rest of the meal plan does not include anything that I need mayo for, and I'm like, let's make it as close to the time when I need it and go from there. Okay. So I made the mayo, which then made the ranch dressing, which is what we're going to need for dinner for the salads. The next thing I need to do is, there is 1 chicken bosom here, and I'm going to cut this up, cook it in some sesame oil along with this. And that's going to be for my daughter. She made earlier this week like some Thai noodles, but it doesn't have a protein, so this will add some protein to it. Alright, then all I did here was just kind of get all of those ingredients going in. I just did salt and pepper, not enough salt this time. Salt, pepper, some of that, I think it was General Tso sauce that you get at Aldi, and a little bit of sesame oil, kind of get all of that in, and then I'm going to let that sit in the fridge for an hour or so before I make it. Okay, I'm kind of moving on to making some meal prep here. This is some pulled pork barbecue, and this is going to be a sandwich for me for this week. I put it in this container, and the place that I'm working at this week does have a microwave that I can use, so I can heat it up there, and then I have some bread in a Ziploc bag that I can use that way, and then I don't have like a soggy sandwich to eat, which is not fun, can I just say. So this worked out really, really well. And remember these sweet peas that I got? Well, I'm going to put them in a couple of Ziploc bags, one for me for the sandwich, and then the other half I ended up giving to my daughter for one of her meals this week. And then I also took the other bag and I divided it equally 3 ways so that my husband could take some to work this week for his lunches. Alright, we're back to working on my daughter's meal. So as you can see, this one container has like a pretty good packed thing of, I guess, Thai noodles, for lack of a better word. I'm not really sure. So with clean fingers, I am separating this into several meal portions that she could take in this upcoming week, and then we'll add the chicken that I just cooked right on top. Yep, I realized, oh wait a minute, why doesn't the other container have have the lid off? So anyway, this made about 3 portions for her, and as it turned out, she ended up only eating 2 of these And then today we were able to use one as a leftover meal. So worked out really great. The chicken, again, turned out really good. I just think that it needed a little bit more salt. Maybe I should have divided the salt from the quiche and the chicken a little bit better. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I really hope that this gives you some suggestions and inspiration to make this work out well for you and your family, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.